What's up, everybody? The New York Knicks managed to get themselves a nice home victory against the Utah Jazz last night, a night after suffering a tough loss on the road against the 76ers. As the title of the video says, the Knicks are starting to heat up as they've now won 3 out of their last 4 games. Once again, both Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson were sensational, with both of them dropping over 30 points in this one, but the Knicks also got plenty of contributions from the role players on the team, including the newly acquired Josh Hart. It was only his first game for the Knicks this season, but he played extremely well. He played over 25 minutes. Thibodeau even felt comfortable closing the game with him. And it was only his debut game, but it felt like he already had an on-court chemistry with Jalen Brunson, who they both played together with at Villanova and won a championship back in 2016. So let's break down how this game went, starting off with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was easily the MVP of the game for the Knicks. It feels like every time he goes up against the Utah Jazz, he suns them. He scored 25 points to help the Knicks beat the Jazz on the road earlier in the year. He destroyed Utah in the playoffs last year, back when he was on the Mavs and they played the Jazz in the first round. And he dominated them again today with 38 points and 5 assists. Just like against the Sixers, he started off the first quarter hot. Against the 76ers, he had 20 points in the first quarter. In this game, he had 15 points in the first quarter, and he stayed hot the rest of the game. Jalen Brunson showed off the full arsenal in this game. He abused Colin Sexton, constantly beating him to the paint and scoring in that floater range where he's been money all season. He was scoring in the mid-range, and he also shot well from deep. Jalen Brunson has been amazing for the Knicks since game 1, but he's really picked it up recently. It feels like he took the All-Star snub personally, because since February 3rd, when the All-Star reserves were announced and he didn't make it, Jalen Brunson has been averaging 31 points per game while shooting 58% from the field and 52% from 3. And even though he didn't make the All-Star team, he doesn't need to be validated with an award. Anybody that's been watching Knicks games this year knows that Jalen Brunson has been one of the elite point guards in the NBA this season. And his elite play is a huge reason why the Knicks have gone from being in the basement last year to a team that's battling for playoff positioning this year. Julius Randle also had a very dominant game, scoring 31 points. Like Brunson, he got it done on all 3 levels, not only knocking down the 3 ball, but scoring really well in the mid-range and also finishing at the rim. And I know a lot of Knicks fans don't like Julius Randle, but you have to give credit where credit is due, because he's flat out having a monster season. He's averaging 25 points, 11 boards, and 4 assists per game. His points per game this season is higher than when he was All-NBA second team back in 2021, and he's played in every game for the season, and as they say, the best ability is availability. With the numbers that he's producing and the fact that the Knicks are winning, he definitely earned that second All-Star spot. Whether you like Julius Randle or not, you have to admit that the Knicks would simply not be where they're at right now if Julius Randle wasn't producing like this on a nightly basis. Now let's talk about Josh Hart. Hart came in and provided an immediate impact to the Knicks, stuffing the stat sheet in his first game with 11 points, 8 boards, 4 assists, and 4 steals. He rebounded the basketball extremely well, both on the offensive and defensive glass, and his biggest offensive board came very late in the game, where he not only got the offensive board, but found RJ Barrett for the corner 3, which gave the Knicks a commanding 9-point lead. He also played really good defense, and his defensive plays was able to turn into transition passes and fast break buckets for his team on the other end. And he also shot the 3 ball well, knocking down 3 of his 6 3-pointers. He played very well in just his first game, and you really got to give Leon Rose credit, because this was a really nice trade for the Knicks. Trade deadline was crazy because there were so many big blockbuster trades, with Kevin Durant going to the Suns, Kyrie going to the Mavs, D'Angelo Russell going to the Lakers. So this trade really went under the radar and it didn't really get talked about much. But Josh Hart was a sneaky good pickup, and he proved this game that he could be a difference maker for the Knicks and help bolster their playoff run in the home stretch of the season. Now let's talk about RJ Barrett. RJ scores 20 points, but he shot just 6 of 15 from the field, which is just 40%. And at this point of the season, if you're a Knicks fan, you should start to feel worried about RJ Barrett, because he's not living up to the expectations that comes with being not only a number 3 overall pick, but also what comes after getting the bag, because the front office gave him a 4-year, $104 million extension in the offseason. RJ Barrett is scoring a lot of points this year. He's averaging 20 a game, but he's very inefficient. He's only shooting 43% from the field and 33% from three. To his credit, his finishing at the rim has improved, but he's shooting the three ball at a very poor percentage, and his jump shooting hasn't really improved much from last year to this year. Not only is his offense underwhelming, but his defense has been very poor this year, and he isn't doing a very good job of setting up his teammates. I don't know if anybody noticed in last night's game against the Jazz, but there was one play where Obi Toppin was wide open under the rim and RJ missed him. And Obi was very visibly frustrated that RJ didn't find him for the lob. And this isn't just a one-game thing. There's several times every game where RJ misses his open teammates. And it may sound like I'm dunking on RJ right now, but when you're the number 3 overall pick and the front office gives you the bag, that comes with high expectations, and RJ simply has not lived up to those expectations. This season, RJ should be producing at an all-star level, or at least close to it, but this year, we're simply not seeing the growth in his game that we need to see. On a more positive note, Emmanuel quickly played very well against the Jazz, dropping 15 points on 6 of 9 shooting. Earlier in the year, quickly shot the ball very poorly, but he's really picked it up recently, where over his last 20 games, he's averaging 14 points per game on 49% shooting from the field and 38% from 3. Earlier in Quickly's career, his shot profile was limited, where it felt like the only shots he really took were 3-pointers and floaters, but this year we're seeing him get downhill, get all the way to the rim, and finish really well. Emmanuel Quickly has not only become an efficient scorer, but he's also playing his usual excellent defense. This season, he's easily been the Knicks' most important bench piece, and he's really putting together a nice third season in the league. Back on a negative note, I'm starting to get worried about Quentin Grimes because he had one of his worst games of the season. He scored just one measly point on just all 3 shooting, and it isn't just a one-game thing. He's been in a shooting slump for a while now, where over his last 20 games, he's only shooting 32% from deep. Now, Quentin Grimes is a very good off-ball player. He scores well on cuts. He runs hard in transitions, but the Knicks need him to hit that 3 ball at a high percentage. The Knicks have 2 very good ISO players between Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, who draw a lot of extra attention, but the Knicks need Quentin Grimes to punish the defense by knocking down the 3 ball at a high percentage, and he really hasn't been able to do that for a decent portion of the season. Now, I do think that Quentin Grimes will continue to start, but with Josh Hart playing this well, if Grimes continues to stay in a slump and Josh Hart continues to have performances like this, I really wouldn't be shocked if Thibodeau takes Grimes out the starting lineup and makes Josh Hart the starter. So hopefully Grimes can break out of his slump and pick it up very soon. At this point, I'll talk about both Jericho Sims and Isaiah Hornstein together. I thought they both played very well, and I thought they both competed really hard on the glass. Jericho Sims got 10 boards in this game, and Isaiah Hornstein got 14 boards in this game. And against the Utah Jazz, the Knicks went up against a really big front court. The Jazz had 3 7-footers on the court at certain times of this game between Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, and Kelly Olynyk. And I thought both guys competed really hard and rebounded the basketball really well. The Knicks still need to get Mitchell Robinson back soon because the defense has really suffered with him out. But when Hartenstein and Jericho Sims both played this well, it really helps to make up for not having Mitch. The last Knick that played in this game was Obi Toppin, and he really didn't do much, scoring just 2 points in 9 minutes. Now, I think that Obi is a good player, but he really isn't on a team that suits his strengths. We know that Obi is a very athletic guy that likes to run hard in transitions and catch lobs and dunks, but the Knicks don't play in a fast break offense. The Knicks have the 4th slowest pace in the league. They're a good offensive team, but they prefer to play in the half court, which doesn't suit Obi's play style. But the biggest hurdle for Obi is really Julius Randle. Randle is strictly a power forward, and Obi is strictly a power forward, and Randle is going to play at least 35 minutes a night, and Thibodeau isn't really comfortable playing both of these guys, Obi and Randle, at the same time, because neither are very good defenders, neither are good rim protectors, and when both players are on the floor at the same time, the defense usually suffers. Obi's a good player, but he's not on a team that really suits his strengths, and I really wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks end up trading Obi a year or two down the line. Overall, this was a really nice home victory, and the Knicks are starting to build momentum here. And I think that the Knicks have a legit chance to climb up the standings in the last 24 games of the season. The Knicks are currently in the 7th seed, but they're only 3 games away from the 5th seeded Brooklyn Nets. And as discussed before, the Nets just dismantled their roster by trading away Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So if the Knicks can go on a big win streak here and close the season strong, I think they have a legit chance to get to the 6th and maybe even the 5th seed. But now I want to hear from you guys. What did you think of this nice victory against the Utah Jazz? Do you think that the Knicks can get to the 5th seed? Let me know in the comments. Guys, like the Knicks, I'm also trying to achieve greatness. I'm hoping to get to 15,000 subscribers before June. So please, if you enjoyed this recap and want to see more dope videos just like it, please drop a like on the video and hit that subscribe button. I hope you guys enjoy the Super Bowl later today. I'm gonna be at my boy's crib in Queens to watch the game later tonight. So have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next video.